Hello, everybody.
Oh.
Thank you so much for being here. I would like to request all the audience, please put your speakers on mute. And I wanted to say that it's my privilege and honor to have you all here. These are talk series about health that I have been doing for Iranian-American Community Center called Pars Place. And I'm really, really happy to report that this January, we're starting the 7th year. So we've done this for 6+ years. And initially, I used to do it in the center. But when COVID started, we shifted to Zoom. And the benefit of Zoom is that, first of all, it's easier for people to attend. Second, we can record it. And then after recording, it's posted on Pars Place YouTube site. And then you can watch it again, share it with friends, and it's permanent. Most of you know me. My name is Farideh Sadeghi. And I'm a board certified cardiologist from Iran, a board certified internist from United States of America, and I'm a retired hospitalist. Hospitalist means a person who takes care of the sickest of the sick in the hospital on many tubes. And I did this for 10 years and I burned out myself. Then I realized that this is not really the best way to go, meaning just to focus on patients and illness. And I shifted my path to focusing on prevention. And just like in real estate, they say location, location, location. I dare to say now prevention, prevention, prevention. I'm going to share a few slides that, not a few, actually, it became a bunch, but I will probably just go over some a bit quicker than others, and we will make it sweet, concise, and easy. Hopefully, I can do that. The talk of today is immune system, and immune system of the body is one of the magical systems of the body, and the study of the science of immune system is called immunology. Any ology at the end of words means to know it, like biology, physiology, pathology. This is immunology. In short, immunology basically means, or immune system, is a complex network of organs, cells, and proteins that defend the body against infection whilst protecting the body's own cells. So the job of the immune system is to defend us against all kinds of infections and not to harm ourselves, because when there's a fight going on, sometimes we have casualties of our own members in war fronts, and immune system should not attack the body itself. Although, unfortunately, sometimes when immune system gets out of whack and becomes chaotic and overactive, does that and affects the normal cells of the body, and those are called autoimmune illnesses. The immune system keeps a record of every germ or microbe that it has ever defeated, so it can recognize and destroy the microbe quickly if it enters the body again. Like, we get certain disease only once, and our body creates immunity for that. But there are many, many, many other diseases that they mutate, change shape, and our body cannot recognize them as an old enemy, faces them as new enemy. And abnormalities of immune system can lead to, this is exactly what I just said, that when immune system gets out of whack, the out of whackness of immune system means it is lazy and not working, and we get all kinds of infections, or it is overworking and we get all kinds of autoimmune problems. The basic and the simplest of it being allergic disease and many other autoimmune illnesses like lupus, Sjogren, rheumatoid arthritis, and name it. There are many of them. In summary, if I want to show you the immune system of the body anatomically, to make it simple, all the surfaces of the body that comes in contact with the environment are part of the immune system, starting with the whole skin, and then mouth, and then inside the mouth cavity, we have the tonsils and the adenoids. These are part of immune system, and their function and proper function is extremely important for body's health. When it comes to lymph nodes, all the lymph nodes and chain of the lymph nodes in the body are part of immune system, the same as bone marrow. And then come to thymus gland. Thymus gland is the commander-in-chief of immune system, and the health of thymus gland, which usually is not even talked about in medicine much, is extremely important. And right now is the best place for me to mention that a simple exercise of tapping on thymus gland right above our sternum is the simplest exercise that we can do to massage and stimulate our thymus gland. And the thymus gland will get this love and this attention, plus the increased blood supply, and it will help our immune system, as well as other organs like spleen, the lymphatic patches that covers this small intestine called Peyer's patches. The whole small intestine is part of the immune system. We'll come to it, and we'll talk about the microbiome that is just newly recognized by traditional medicine, and it has been ignored for years. The same as large intestine and appendix. This is our appendix. And every now and then when it gets inflamed, it has to be removed, but it's part of the immune system. So what does immune system does? Fights the infections, bacteria, viruses. And here today we have gathered to understand how to make our immune system robust, strong, in balance, not off balance, not overactive, not underactive. I would like to mention that, honest to God, our body is a magical machine. Is one of the most intelligent, organized, coordinated systems that you can find on planet Earth. And it works beautifully. All these 30 to 50 trillion cells have a secret language that they talk to each other. They have receptors and radars. The secret language of cells, a book that I finished a while back, talks about this, how these cells work together by signaling. And these signalings happen by the long dendrite of the nerve cells. And here comes the importance of the nerve cells, and we'll talk about it a bit later. Today, I would like to introduce to you the doctor in your body. Every one of us has a doctor in our body, and that doctor is our immune system. I believe this. I really have come to realize that Doctors outside there are help, but the power is inside us. We have a doctor inside us that heals. And I say this all the time. If we did not have, if our body did not have the intelligence of healing, we would not have even one surgeon in the whole planet Earth, because they would not dare to cut this skin. They only dare to cut this skin because they know that this skin is going to heal. Knowing that, my job now in the past 6-7 years has been to relay this message to people. People, you are powerful. People, you have a doctor inside your body called immune system. Keep it in check and keep it balanced. The reason I'm sharing this slide is that we do not live in a bubble. We cannot protect ourselves by being in a bubble. We need to do other things because, first of all, human being is not a solitary creature. We need to be with others to grow and find about our own imbalances. We are often in situations like this, in touch and contact with hundreds and hundreds of people, and we get affected by them physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. And in other words, these days, progressive people are saying that, we are all connected, and they describe the universe and the 8 billion people who are on this planet Earth, plus all the other creatures, animals, plants, trees, as a hologram. Energetically, we are connected, or in other words, we're all in the same boat. Another expression for this analogy is string theory, S-T-R-I-N-G, string theory. And basically, this shows us the connection of us to each other, us to plants, us to Earth, us to other galaxies. We're all in the same boat. Now, how do we keep our immune system in balance? Whenever we have internal balance, which starts with internal peace and harmony. Health, in other words, means harmony and balance, in simple words. And without balance, there is no growth, no maturity, no ascension. So balance is fundamental, and balance is health. But this balance is not outside us. This balance is inside us, and each person's balance is unique for that person. So we see a person in a meditative yoga pose, and this is representative of a person who is in unity, feels whole and complete, calm, no matter what is happening outside. This is very, very important. This means we are 100% responsible here, and by making changes inside here, we affect outside us. This is called macrocosm. This is called microcosm, and they are interconnected. This slide, I made it a while back, and I want to say that each one of us who are here, and I can give myself as an example, now that I'm sitting here at this very moment, my total being is the result of many things, is the result of the far past, is my ancestral history, is the history of the DNA that I inherited, all the events of the 9-month pregnancy that I was in the tummy of my rest in peace mother, what she thought, what she did, what she ate, who she was, what kind of DNA she had, has gone into the construction and being of my body. But I'm not doomed with that construction. later on, maybe if there's time, I will mention that when we live right and responsibly, we can change all the past. Coming to birth, which is an event that appears to be a very traumatizing event for the baby, which comes from a warm, quiet, semi-quiet place to a chaotic world, affects the baby's being. And the first 2 years and afterward affects our whole being, and our immune system is part of our being. And I would like to mention two things here about birth. It's clear that the people, or not people, the children who are born by C-section have lower immune system. The reason is because they don't pass through the birth canal and they're not exposed to microbacteria of the vaginal area, and their microbiome is compromised. We'll come to microbiome in a little bit. And another factor in birth is that after birth, when the babies are not breastfed, their immune system is going to be weaker. But talking about childhood, imagine this child living in a secure home environment with a happy mother, with a healthy environment. Let's compare the immune system of this baby to immune system of this baby. These are real and these are facts, but doesn't stay there. If this baby gets a virus in Africa, in less than some days, we're going to have it here in United States of America. So here comes, we're all in the same boat, makes meaning that immune system of everybody is important, and immune system of everybody creates the collective immune system of humanity. Now, when we have a childhood like this, there is a great possibility that this child is going to have traumatized brain, traumatized growth, compromised immune system, and it's part of the human society, or us all collectively. When I talk about balance, I always, most of the time, bring this slide to my talks. Today, we're talking about the immune system, and the balance of immune system is hand in hand with the balance of our psyche, with the balance of our nerves, and the balance of endocrine system. Functional medicine calls this psycho, neuro, endo, immune system. So with psychological issues, we're going to develop immune problem. With neurological situations, we're going to develop immune problem. Or vice versa, with immune problems, we're going to develop these two, and also endocrine issues. Our cortisol level skyrockets with stress, and cortisol is a hormone. And that cortisol causes many problems, increases the sugar, increases the body fat, causes obesity, causes diabetes, and then our nervous system gets off balance. We develop high blood pressure, talk about chain of illnesses, just starting from one point and spreading all over. And when I talk about these four systems, the analogy that I have found to make a lot of sense is the four-wheel drive. And the four-wheel drive is such that when one wheel goes off balance, guaranteed that it affects other three. So please, let's just focus on this slide for like 10 seconds and register this in our brain, that these four systems work together and balance of each affects the balance of the other. So we're talking about immune system, but immune system includes all the other three systems as well: psycho, neuro, endo, immune system. When we talk about immune system, it means feeling secure, feeling secure. Any moment that we do not feel secure, our immune system gets affected. And this insecurity could be germs, viruses, bacteria, toxins in the air, toxic news, toxic thoughts, or anything and everything that is happening in this planet Earth. Like, for example, these days, the reason I chose this topic is because the health of the immune system these days are fundamental. It has always been, but these days plays even bigger role with all the news that is fed to us from moment to moment. And most of the news are fiery, toxic, inflamed. And I've heard some people saying CNN, yeah, continuous negative news. All right, but are they also aware that they are destroying the immune system of the people? This is a big thing. This is a very big thing, people. Please, let's be aware of it. Or talk about work environment, the stress of the work. Look at this poor lady. I can relate to her. This was me for years. And or checking out, just checking out and being paralyzed, frozen, inactive, and then depressed. Depression is an inflammation. These days, science agrees with it. And why do we have this inflammation? It's because of immune system problems. So depression gets tied to immune system problems. Cancer is because of immune system problems, and many, 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 many other illnesses. So when we get stressed out, all stresses are not bad. If we manage this stress and remain in this rectangular area of the yellow, this is a beautiful life. We have enough driving force. We are trying and working, but not such that we are exhausted or have developed anxiety, panic, and anger. This is a normal area of life. And this green area of a lackadaisical life is our vacations. We are laid back here, very little stress. But the problem and the destruction of immune system starts when we go overboard in this yellow zone, go to fatigue, don't watch ourselves, push through, go to exhaustion, exhaustion, exhaustion. Body starts getting shut down, immune system gets weak, autonomic nervous systems get disbalanced, mitochondria gets dysfunctional, and the whole body starts going down the drain, and anxiety, panic, and anger. When we're here, we are in a very, 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 very critical area, and the breakdown is coming. So the wisdom tells us to stay here, occasionally go here, never go here, and never, never, never go to this red zone. We go to red zone when we live our life mostly in fight and flight, fight and flight, fight and this is not living. This is war. And if we do fight and flight for quite some long time, then we're going to freeze, and that's not a healthy life. And then here our immune system is really taxed, and we are straining it, and eventually then we go to the phase of being frozen, our immune system shuts down, and we're prone to all kinds of infections. This fight and flight at the normal range, basically flight means we go to bed and sleep and rest. That's when our parasympathetic system is working. And when we are active, our sympathetic system. And this is one of the very, very important systems of the body, and it has to work in sync with each other. Whereas I guarantee right now in the world, a lot of people are in sympathetic overdrive that leads to a lot of issues and problems. Recently, I was watching a podcast. The therapist was working with the people who had issues, said I want to become unsympathetic, means to basically slow down the sympathetic system and use the parasympathetic system a little bit more. The reason we go to sympathetic overdrive is because we use our animal brain and we get amygdala hijacked all the time. We react rather than respond because human beings have a part of the brain that is their frontal lobe. And we are the only creatures who have this. The one and only other ones who have a little bit of this frontal lobe are monkeys and apes. And we are supposed to use our human brain, not our animal brain. But unfortunately, it looks like from the 250,000 years that human being has been walking on two legs, most of the time we have used our emotion centers connecting to our amygdala. This pathway has become so strong that we always are in fight and flight. And we think that it's the end of the world. Araga means end of the world. Whereas if we give ourselves a chance to breathe properly, use the free and abundant oxygen in the environment to our benefit, and take the oxygen up here and use our frontal lobe, then we will respond. Respond means acting with responsibility, means if they ask me, why did I do what I did? I will have a response and I will act and talk responsibly. And this is the function of human brain. And when we operate from here, let's say 90%, 99% of the time, we're calm, we're happy, we're whole and complete, we're not blaming, we're not judging, we are joyful, healthy, strong immune system in balance, and everything is okay, no matter what is happening in macrocosm. We are organizing our microcosm, and by that, we will have a much, much better contribution to the whole universe. If not, if we do not use our frontal lobe, we are going to go into survival mode, which is a very painful life, hanging from a branch, using all our energy with anxiety, phobia, fear, illness, low immune system, the baggage of the past, and very, very prone to dying, and even a helping hand cannot reach us. This is where we live in the red zone. And while I prepared this slide a long time ago, I created another tree here, and comparing to this fellow who is living in survival, and this is not living, I would call this dead walking. It's not even walking, it's just dying. Like to this little human being who is sitting up here and enjoying the scenery. This is living. This is called dying in an alive body. Now, for us to shift from dying in an alive body to living, we need paradigm shift. Paradigm shift is a change from one way of thinking to another way. And I would like to share this slide with all of you that basically talks about different dimensions and different paradigms. There is a paradigm down here below the green area that is based on fear. And fear results in shame, guilt, apathy, grief, fear, at best desire, anger, and pride. And looking at this slide, the base here, I chose these colors. The very lowest level is dark, so dark that is basically the people who live a life such that they're not living and they're basically dying, living. Here, there is a lot of confusion, there's a lot of problem, and immune system here is almost shut down. By improving our frequency, by dealing with all the issues resulted from fear and allowing to operate from our heart, the green zone, and developing the courage, graduating to neutrality, then finding willingness and wanting the change, acceptance and surrendering, reason, pathway to ascension, to better zone opens. And here our cells have a much better frequency of 400 compared to frequency of 20, which is shame, 30, which is guilt, 50, which is apathy. We move upward, and here we are doing all of these things based on love and choice. And then joy comes out of our within, and we're joyful with no reason outside, but inside we're joyful, we're peaceful. And then this is the pathway to enlightenment or ascension from our lower self, which is dense and problematic and ill, to our higher self, which is more conscious, more vibrant, more frequent. And this analogy is like moving from dark step by step toward light, from fear to love, unconditional love. And this is a pathway that I have found through practice of spirituality. And for us to be able to do paradigm shift, it can only happen in now, N-O-W. And the book Power of Now beautifully describes this, written by Eckhart Tolle. I created this slide just 2 hours ago. And what I'm trying to relay here is that if you're not in now, if you're not present, we can even be walking fast, going toward our destination. But if we are anxious, this ditch here is the anxiety that we don't even see. We keep going, we fall. Whereas if we have created peace by ascension within our own self, creating peace, calm, assurance, and willingness, and all those good characteristics of a higher dimension, we are walking on a flat path, and the risk of falling in the ditch is much less. This became clear to me a while back, and I have to really remind myself several times throughout the day that, listen, Farideh, anxiety is like a ditch in your path. Anxiety does not make anything better. If anything, makes everything worse. So how do I deal with my anxiety? With deep breaths and with filling this anxiety area, this big ditch, with hope, with reliance to source and my own source within me, and many other things that I will be mentioning now, how to shift from lower dimension, lower self to higher dimension. Paradigm shift meaning graduating from fear and need and greed to choice and love. Here we have the weakest possible immune system. Here we have a robust immune system. Paradigm shift meaning moving from me to we, from me, I, to we, and I, L-L-N-E-S-S, illness. We, V-E-L-L-N-E-S-S, wellness. Illness versus wellness, it's paradigm shift. How do we create paradigm shift? As we spoke, by proper breathing, by healthy lifestyle. The four pillars of healthy lifestyle means proper nutrition, proper sleep, proper exercise, proper stress management. It's all four of them and is extremely important. I'm going to repeat this one more time. The four pillars of healthy lifestyle is proper nutrition, proper exercise, proper sleep, proper stress management. Proper nutrition starts with incorporating the superfoods in our food and detoxifying our body by understanding probiotics, prebiotics, and postbiotics that I just recently learned about. This in itself is a conversation of an hour, and how we increase the benefit of these things. We may repeat the talk. I've talked about this a few times in the conversation of microbiome, and yoga and meditation saved my life, and I strongly recommend, because in yoga and meditation we create the union within ourselves, the mind, body, and spirit in now. I remember I learned this in yoga class, not in medical school, that when our mind, body, and breath are together and one, we integrate. When each one goes one way, we disintegrate. Under stressful situation, we completely stop breathing. Every now and then we sigh, and that's when the brain says, I'm dying, take a breath. We talked about immune system. It goes hand in hand with the microbiome. What is microbiome? It's a conversation of an hour at least, but in summary, microbiome is, micro means the small, biome means life. All the bacteria that live in our body are the microbiome. It's everywhere, on the skin, in the mouth, in the nose, but the biggest population of microbiome is inside our GI tract. That's why our nutrition is so important, and the health of the GI tract is fundamental in the health of immune system. They go hand in hand. Microbiome is the balance between the good bacteria and bad bacteria of the guts. These are gut healing foods. I'll go faster than, I can mention the names, maybe I should. Gut healing foods, these are just examples. Like apple cider vinegar is really good. Kefir is good. Yogurt, bone broth, coconut oil, kombucha, sauerkraut, leeks, asparagus, mushrooms, garlic, onions, dandelion greens, chicory roots, jacama, sweet potatoes, apples, berries, and citrus fruit, and some other, but these are the important ones. And if we plan our meal plans such that has more of these things, we're going to be in a better shape with better microbiome and better immune system. Another thing is to decrease our oxidative load, because this is a normal cell. This is a cell that is affected by free radicals and increased oxidative load, and eventually gets all destroyed, and then our DNA gets destroyed, and then we're prone to all kinds of illnesses, including cancer. It's important, I like this cartoon, that this guy says, we only live once. This guy says, wrong. We only die once. We live every day. really, let's make this life, this precious gift, worthy of living with all our ability and deal with all the events outside us constructively for the sake of having a better body, a healthier body, and a stronger immune system. And understand that our life doesn't have only one aspect. Everybody's life has at least 8 aspects. These are the 8 dimensions of well being. Starts with physical, then social, then occupational, emotional, financial, environmental, spiritual, and intellectual. And when we have the balance in all these aspects of our being, environment completely being out of our control, but we can contribute to it by making our environment a more healthier place. So balance of all these aspects of our being is going to lead to a healthier body and to a robust immune system. And it's only then that we could have a peaceful body, a easeful life, and a useful life too. So that's the goal. As well as that, we need to understand that path of life better be ascension, and for us to move to higher elevation and to higher frequency, all the 50 trillion cell of body will start vibrating with better frequency, and that's the key to healthier and more robust immune system. I thank you all for being here and being part of this conversation. So now I'm all open for comments and questions.